Today I want to talk a little bit about the difference, maybe, if we can, see how it goes, between illusions and dreams. Many people don't have it clear what's an illusion or what's a dream, and if one is needed and one is not needed, and so on. And what's the problem if I have one over the other? An illusion is a form of a dream. Daydream, illusion. You create a certain scenario in your head. Many people have illusions. When you sit in your whatever and you have illusions, basically you're fantasizing. You fantasize that one day you'll have a big house and how you will sit in there with your jacket and you have a fireplace and you're going to have maids and you have mahogany all over the place and you're smoking a cigar and have a single malt in your hands. And people say to you, "Hello, sir." And you said, "Yes, hello, hello." People will come and bow down to you. That's a fantasy. A fantasy will cause you to do absolutely nothing. That kind of illusion / fantasy is what causes people not to achieve, because they always withdraw into their fantasy. They withdraw into their illusion. Those people will never achieve anything. If you have a dream is something that you want to do. And when the opportunity comes, you'll just open the door and you will walk in and you give it 100% of what you got because the opportunity came. And opportunities do come your way. But when it comes, if you withdraw into your fantasy, the opportunity closes. It's like those windows that you get in your life. Window opens up, see the gap, you got to throw it in. Having a dream is fantastic because it makes you strive, because the dream is a goal-oriented. An illusion is an ongoing fantasy that has no beginning and no end. Or basically would begin with your life and would end with your life, but will never cause you to achieve anywhere. Most of us fantasize. Most of us have illusions. They don't have dreams. Az hayinu kecholmim, like we were dreaming. We call him Baal HaChalomot. He with the dreams, not the illusions. Because they knew, the brothers of Yosef, that there is some kind of emet to his dreams. It wasn't illusions. He told them, "I dreamt." He didn't say, I was sitting down and I was thinking, how would it be to sit down on a mountaintop and comes this beautiful lady who serves me eclairs, and that's a fantasy. Couldn't ask for better timing. That's a fantasy. Or one day I'll come in to Nordstrom, a store of the Brooks Brothers, and they're going to say to me, "Hello, Mr. X, why don't you come in?" And by the way, they're going to measure me. I'll go like this, and they measure my shoes, and you're just going to give $100 bills to everybody as tips. That's a fantasy. It causes you absolutely nothing. It will not going to make you do anything. You always fall into that, and that's a waste. A fantasy comes, let's say in this case, mitzad tum'ah. You don't have to do it. Withdraw into your fantasy. Go back into your daydreaming. Go back into your illusions. It's not real. And you always fall into that. You're never going to tap in. Having a dream doesn't mean that you have your life easy. As we spoke a little bit about it last night, let me clarify it to you. We have very limited time to be able to do things. And we have very little opportunities to actually go about it. But it's not about having opportunities. It's about tapping into them on the right time. It is realizing what time gives you. This is how you operate under time. And sometimes, as we said last night, sometimes you'll be shattered. And the whole vitrage, the whole thing that you call your life is going to be in shatters. The thing is to be able to stop and pick up the pieces and to go on and to keep on going. Sometimes we need, that's what give you the power, the ability to continue. Sometimes people need to, in order to show themselves that they're alive because they're in this world of fantasy, they will need to break things and to fix them again, just so it will give them something to do. This almost self-destruction just to say, hey, you know, I'm here. You have a job. You're okay with your job. But you feel that you kind of disappear into this great cloud of like another day and another day and another day. So sometimes you will cause yourself hardship at work deliberately so you can fix it, or in your relationship. But that's not good. The thing is to continue. You have a dream. You strive. One day I want to be able to build. One day I would like to be able to. I would like to be. To fantasize is like, I can see myself. You could see yourself, but you're never going to be able to become that. And that is a big difference between dreams and illusions. Is to realize what time has in store for you, because we are all travelers of time. From the crib to the grave. We all travel in time. We're all travelers. That's the ultimate travelocity. I guess that's what people like to travel. And we're all travelers in time. Do you stop sometime and say, okay, let's take the local train. Let's stop down. Let's look at the view a little bit. Let's enjoy it. Let's see what's in store for me. A person that has no dreams is very bad. If you have no dreams, you have no ambition. If your dream is to, if your life is to get another day by and another day by and another day by, that's not good. You'll be better off realizing an old shadow. I'll pick the pieces up and I'll put them back together. Those remnants of my life. People don't live their lives. People that have no life. So what would you rather have? An illusion? Would you like to have a movie? You know what happened to all those films of miles and miles of films that they had in Hollywood? The people were mesmerized by. They simply decay. Do you want to be a movie? You want to be a film? What do you want to be? Even a crumbling mountain is a crumbling mountain. And you're an illusion. And that's something that we all have to be careful. It's why we were able to survive as Jews. We have a dream to one day go back to the land. We have a dream to go back to... And sometimes we come back to the land and all of a sudden we fall into illusions. And that will kill you. Say it again?
Women of the wall.
Women of the wall, yeah. So these are the things in which a person needs to be very, very careful. And you need to be able to do. And you realize there are going to be times that you're going to have to pick up yourself. You have to pick up the shadows, those, and to live the remnants of your life. But even if you have a little remnant left, you still have something. Don't fall into your illusions, because that will kill you. Fantasies has no contact to reality. You need to be able to achieve, to have goals, to strive. So how are you going to live from this point on the rest of your life? It's called she'erit chayecha, the rest of your life. Are you going to live the rest of your life as life? Or are you going to live the rest of your life as remnants, pieces, ripped? The decision for you to do that lays upon the fact, are you goal-oriented, so-called dream-oriented, or illusion-oriented? Do you live in illusions, or do you live in reality? And to have a dream is like, I want to have this one day, and therefore I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even if I have problems. I'll get onto it. We are so insignificant in the realm of life. A tree lives longer than us, yet we bother to cut it in a sense of self-importance. A mountain, by all means, will exceed our lives and our children's life and so on and so forth, and yet we bother to blow it into smithereens, to cut it, to blow it, and so on and so forth. We're so insecure in ourselves that we need to engrave ourselves in this everlasting graffiti. People who do graffiti are very insecure people. Those who destroy, who want to... I don't care how you remember me, but just I want to be remembered. It's not if you remember or not. It's how you lived your life. I told you, my friend's father said to him one time, he says, one time I want to live, I want to be like, to remember like the Rambam, like Maimonides. I don't want to be forgotten. So his father said to him, listen, how many Maimonides were out there? How many people were able to live through history, like the Rashba and the Rambam and so on and so forth? Few people. Out of the whole history of the Jewish people, there's just only a fragment of people, a handful of people. So your chances to do that are very slim. And there is no guarantee that you'll be able to do that. But by all means, you have no chance of doing that if you didn't live your life the right way. Start with living your life the right way. Do what you need to do. Stop with those illusions of being, I want to be as big as a Rambam. I want to be, I don't know. I want to be the next Bruce Lee. And you know what happens to all those people who want to be Bruce Lee? They went to the store, they got themselves a gi, they spent $300 or $100, got themselves a belt, they came for 2 weeks and then they threw it in the garbage. You can't even do what you need to do. Because you fall into your illusions. Because reality, things that you see from here, you don't see from there. When it's in the movie, it seems easy. The guy goes like this, shoo, jumps in the air. The guy picks his leg and turns on like this. You know how much training it takes to do that? When you sit at home, and that's why I keep saying to people, it's like, it's ridiculous how we like to criticize everything. You know, becomes the expert. You know, you watch a guy playing football or basketball or whatever. So I don't think, what's wrong with this guy? He can't do that. Can't catch the ball. The guy throws him the ball. He can't catch the ball. I want to see you trying to catch a ball when you have 3 guys at 300 pounds running to you at 4.3 seconds of 40 or 40-yard dash, ramming into you. I would shut down. I mean, it's like scary. It's very easy to do things from this side. That's why it's very easy for you to criticize your parents, to criticize everybody. But when you're about to do it, listen, the best example, I'll give you the best example. I think you'll be able to understand that. I'm sure you remember Yitzhak Rabin. Remember Yitzhak Rabin, the Prime Minister of Israel? Everybody called him a traitor, Boged. He gave the territory back and so on and so forth. The guy who called him Boged more than everybody was Arik Sharon. Guess what? He became a Prime Minister. He gave also back. I guess it's very easy when you're on the side to put fingers, to criticize. And never judge a person until you be in his place. You got to be able to see the big picture. And that's something that you have to remember. Everybody likes to criticize and so on and so forth, put fingers and point fingers and, try to live the life like that. Try to be that person for one day. Oh, these rabbis are so, this one is arrogant. Try to see one day, day and night people will call you with, and you have to understand, the people that ask you those questions are the most important questions for them at the moment. But it's like you said, you're kidding me? Oh, Rabbi, I need the telephone number of this. What am I, 311? Go tell them to call 311. They have the internet on the computer. Go find it. It's very easy on the other side. It's always easy on the other side. But that's understanding that there is one truth out there. And that's the truth that we are all going to go one day. And yet, the question is, how do we live our lives? Did you define what is really important in your life? At the moment, what's the most important things in your life? What's the most important thing? Is this the most important thing? Sometimes we would be like, we will spend money like lunatics. You buy a watch for, I don't know what, $500, $5,000 to buy yourself a decent tzitzit. For $10 you want. To spend $25, $30, $40, $50,000 on a car. To buy yourself a decent cup to make kiddush, you don't. Cut corners. Do you know why? Because all those things that I described to you, whether it's the car or the watch and so on and so forth, it's all a part of your illusion. It's all a part of your illusion. You live in a dream. Is it really important? You will go on vacation to Bermuda. You spend $15,000 for a week. But you won't get a $5,000 countertop for Pesach, so it'll be easier for you to clean. You would bargain with me about sending your kids to Yeshiva. Why did they charge so much? Well, you could have paid for that. You could have paid for your kid for $15,000. It's the mail lady. You could have paid for that. But it's a part of your illusion. Why in the world would you like to go to Bermuda? I'm sure it's a nice place. But there are many nice places in the world. Is your house a nice place? Is yourself a nice place? Did you pay so much attention to work on yourself? But it's your illusion. And this is the best thing. If you want to be a millionaire, I'll tell you how you're going to be millionaires. Tap into what people are most lazy about. And whatever serves them is the biggest illusion. Give them illusion, give them laziness, and you'll be a billionaire. People go to Bermuda, they go to hotels because they want to live the illusion. I'm a big shot, I'm in a hotel. Where you're not. You go on vacation, you have $75,000 on your credit card, you have no money, you live on credit card. But you go on a vacation. Why? This is not the derech of Torah. Your dream should be, one day I have a dream not to have any money on my credit card. I don't want to have, that's my dream, not to have bills. Not on a fantasy, I'm going to go on a cruise. I'm going to sit like this with my cigar. Feel like a big shot. Your suspenders. Because you live in illusions. And you're going to pick your spouse based on your illusion as well. You're not going to look at the person. You're going to look at the illusion. And like this, you miss all the opportunities of the world. Because instead of barging the door in, breaking the door in, putting all your power in, to do the job perfect, 100%, to give it all you got. Now you got married. You have an opportunity. You got married. Give it all you got. Give it all you got, all your effort to maintain this relationship work. You fall into the illusions. You play a game. That's why I said to you, I'm not such a big advocate of getting married so young. Why? Because you play a game. You're playing house. Play house when you're 5 years old. Not when you're 25 years old. And that's what makes people very wealthy. People's illusions. I mean, bad for business, Yossi, sorry. But, the guy says, I want marble from Italy. Okay, I'll get you marble from Italy. You're going to say, sure. It's like the same thing. Like the guy who's building a house. Comes to him, he's like an 80-year-old guy. Brings an architect. He says, listen, I want a house. Build me a house with big beams. Big house. I said, okay, not a problem. The building, then they come to visit, the house is like, it can hold the Eiffel Tower on top of it. It's so, goes to the architect, he said, I think this building would last 100 years. And the architect left him inside. He says, you old buffoon, you're 80 years old. You smell like mothballs. You're not going to be here. What do you care if it's going to sit 100 years? You're not going to be here. But you want more? I'll get you marble, not a problem. I'll get you handles that are rubies, whatever you want. Your fantasy. Your fantasy, my command. That's what we all mesmerized by all these movies and genies and all these, like this. There's the lotteries of fantasy. But life is not a Walt Disney production. Life is not a Walt Disney production. Life needs hard work. Life means an effort. Life means being ready sometimes that it would not work as you wanted it to work. But it's all about your effort. How many of us really want the kids to score good in school and to do great in school, not because they care about the kids, because they can say, my kid is an A student? How many parents will miserabilize their life of the kids, would send them to the most competitive schools so the kid should be able to enter to Harvard? You moron. Meanwhile, you and your wife are getting divorced. And the most important thing that for you right now is to think whether your kid is going to go to Harvard or not. Are you out of your mind? Work on relationship with your wife. Make sure the kid would not suffer. Yes, he might go to Harvard, will be a psychopath. Put the things in place. It's your illusion that my kid should go to Harvard. And what happens if your kid doesn't go to Harvard? What happens if your kid snaps? And your illusion becomes your kid's reality. What happens then? You're going to divorce your kid as well? How can you teach? And the reason is very simple. Because how can you teach your child to put an effort if you're not willing to put an effort? You think that money will buy you everything. And that's why young ladies go with old men. And vice versa. They're supplying their illusions. Look in the mirror. I don't care who is next to you. If you're 50 years old, or 60, or 70, or 80 years old, she could be 18. She could be not your daughter, your granddaughter. That old guy is looking at you in the mirror. There's nothing you can do, but you don't see that. Because you still live in your illusion. And as I said to you, we're all travelers in time. And the train does not stop. Because you don't want the train to stop. When the train stops, it's a problem. You're just going to make sure you don't derail. You can take a break and take a look at the scenery, enjoy it. And if the train stops, when it's the last stop, you're getting out of here. That you don't want. So make your journey nice. Take a coast-to-coast trip on a train. Look at the mountains. Look at the scenery. Appreciate it. Look around. Don't fall into this routine of slaving yourself in and out and feeding the habit. You're like a junkie. You're a drug addict. And you're feeding the habit of your illusion. Your illusion is constant feeding. When are you going to walk in the 12 steps of separation from your illusion? You are addicted to your illusion because you don't want to face reality. And you know what happens when you don't want to face reality? When reality comes and knock, knock. You know what you're going to do? You're going to escape from it. You're going to start taking your drugs because you don't want to face reality. You're going to start lying to yourself. You're going to do all these things. Reality is reality. I'm not what I thought I would be in the illusion. But let me do an inventory of what I have and what I don't have. I have this and I don't have that, and I have, in terms of my own quality and my own abilities. Now, the question is, what could I do? What is the best thing I can do with it? Or how could I be the best that I can be given the tools I have? But when there is a dissonance, there is a conflict, there is a gap between what you think you are and your illusions, because you live there, what you really are here, that's a problem. Even if you here and you here, that's not together, it's not one. And then you don't live your life. And then you have a miserable life. And you're not happy. And you never achieve anything. And then you wonder why everybody's like giving you so much pressure on you. What's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? What's your problem? So take this inventory of yourself. Don't think you could be a pilot when you're afraid of heights. Ooh, should have been a jet fighter. Listen, can you go up? No, I'm afraid of heights. That's okay, my illusion was to be a pilot, but I'm afraid of heights. Okay, so what? I'm going to be on the ground. Maybe I can be a race car driver, to drive NASCARs or whatever it is. But heights, I won't go. See what you have. Take an inventory of your abilities and an inventory of your lack of abilities. Like you run a business. You want to see what's your account receivables. How much money do you have, invested? How much money do you owe? How much goods do you have on hand? And then you summarize your year. I made a profit, I didn't make a profit. It's a good year, it's a bad year. Guess what? We want to expand to other territories. And this is how you do it. But when you never take an inventory, if that was a business, if you will run your life like a business, that's what you should have done. But the way most people run their life, if they will run a business, they will run it to the ground. Because I never take an inventory, and they think it's all going to be okay when you know it's not going to be okay. When nobody enters your store, and you keep on putting money, you know it's not going to be okay. And what are you going to do one day? Belly up? That's exactly what happens. That's the difference between dreams and illusions. That's the difference between life and death. When you have dreams, and you live your life according to, strive, you're on the path of life, regardless of how long you live. But when you have illusions, you have to be a realist. These are my abilities. I mean, it's very easy to think that you can run as fast as Usain Bolt, whatever his name is, runs in the Olympics, or you can jump, and reality is not. In reality, in your mind, you could, or to go into the flips and to do those swimming pool flips, with this wheel for high jumps, whatever they do. In theory, it's fine. All of a sudden, you go like this. Oh my goodness, it's 30 feet up in the air. I'm not jumping out of here. Let me just go down. So I guess the reality, I'm not capable of doing that. That means I'm going to go home now and go into a fetal position and cry myself to sleep? No. All right, let me find something else. I'll be a salesman. I don't know, I'll be something else. Whatever you'll be. You got to know yourself. Don't be afraid to know yourself. Don't be afraid. You might have the greatest discovery of your life, knowing who you are. And you better off try. You better off try. And at the end find out that you are nothing. It's my view. Than to live all your life and to think you are something, because then you're going to find that you are nothing. At least I tried. I'm not successful. I'm not a businessman. That's not, I tried very hard. Not for me. I failed. All right. A mistake is never a mistake. A failure is never a failure if you learn from it. But if you never try, or you never learn from it, then it's a failure, then it's a mistake. So my dear friends, dream your life away. Try, find out, but never fall into illusions. Have a great day.